Welcome, everybody. Glad you guys are here. Glad you guys are able to join. Welcome to Secret of the Unknown. This is episode 38. We are winding this year down. Um, Man, it's already going to be 2025. Who would have thought we would have seen this in our lifetime, let alone have it uh, come so quickly? Um, Seems like it was just yesterday. It was 30, 30 years into the 2000s. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. Glad you guys are able to join me. Uh, we can get a good turnout tonight. Let's get this chat going over. All right. Okie dokie. Let me see. Let me get this. Not sure if that's going to work. Don't know if that sounds any better. But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on last week. I know we had Freak Show Friday. We were going over and talking a lot about a lot of the stuff that was going on in the world, in the news, stuff that was going on, the drones. Yeah, just a bunch of crazy stuff that's been happening. And seems like more and more we're starting to see a lot of crazy crap coming out. But then again, is it really crazy? Is it really that outlandish? For a lot of the things that we are seeing, comparatively speaking, compared to everything that's been coming out. I mean, it seems like everything that we've been talking about as or being labeled as conspiracy theorists, and I hate that word to my core. I hate it. It seems like more and more we are finding out that's coming true. One of the things I was thinking about talking about today was the idea that, or the theory that came out that, get your guys' ideas on it, on what has been circulating around the idea that the Mississippi River is actually the Nile River mentioned in biblical times or in scriptures, because we are seeing that the Mississippi River isn't actually the largest river in the world. It's actually bigger than the Nile River in Egypt. And according to the description of the Nile River in biblical passages, you have 7 rivers or 7 other waterways from the Nile River. And the Nile River in Egypt does not have 7 separate rivers that are flowing from it. So that was just something that I was going over, that I was looking into, and I thought it was really interesting that if you look at a lot of the cities that the Mississippi River, let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see here. See if I can't get this pulled up here. One of the things that, like I said, I had noticed, was looking back or looking over some of these theories that, you know, the Mississippi River was actually the Nile River. They call it the first Egypt, and the connection through it to the Mississippi River and the Nile River. It's really crazy because when you look at ancient maps that are brought up from the explorers, or even just the mentioning of the areas around the Nile River, and you look at the Mississippi River, it is really kind of like, I don't know, it makes you think, like, could this really be why it is that we find so much ancient Egyptian artifacts around America? Is that, I mean, even in the Grand Canyon, you see that we have these artifacts that are being found throughout America, and it makes you wonder, like, what is the correlation between what we are seeing in ancient scriptures and ancient texts versus what we are seeing in the actual Egypt on the Nile River? It is nothing compared to what is being said in these ancient texts. And they are actually finding a lot of the buildings or the monuments and ancient ruins that are lining the Mississippi River. I think they were saying that there are more edifices and pyramid type structures along the Mississippi River than there are on the Nile River, which is really baffling, because it's like, okay, if this was really a dwelling place for this ancient civilization that was here, would that be the reasoning behind the naming of these towns, like, Cairo, Illinois, or these Middle Eastern naming of these areas that we see on these ancient maps along the Nile River? Like I said, I mean, it was just something that I was looking into, and I just, figured I'd throw it out there and see the if it had seen this correlation between the two. Um, it was just, like I said, it was just something that was really fascinating to me. So I just was like, man, let me bring that up and see if anybody else had heard about it or if I'm just the only one. But I think it is something that is very interesting, to say the least, because I mean, there is so much that we do not know about our history, our the cultures that are in America, and the things that we thought we knew about this country, I mean, are actually, you know, not anything near what we were or have been told. Because, I mean, if you see any of the, ancient structures that they have found in America that are reminiscent of ancient Egyptian edifices, it just, I don't know, it just makes you think, what what's actually out there that we have been privy to or have been hidden from, that is not anything to do with America. I'm sitting here trying to figure out if I can see this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I mean, am I the only one that thinks, this is something that should be looked into? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, I mean, so many different types of things that we have not been told of, or that we have been hidden from, regarding knowledge in ancient history. It makes you think about a lot of the reality of our past, and why it is that we have been lied to for so long about so many things, and why it is that the powers that be decide to a lot of the historians that are trying to bring forth this knowledge that there were ancient cultures that have been around here for thousands of years, and have shared their cultural realities with America. know, the Phoenicians that were master sailors that sailed here um, from Egypt, and brought these cultures here. We are finding out that yes, this is something that has actually happened. Um, that is it in fact something that we were being lied to about? That we were um, not being allowed to or being hidden from this notion that these cultures were able to, uh, sail here or, come to America from uh, Egypt or Asia or from Europe, because they were, they weren't smart enough or they weren't technologically advanced enough to be able to do something like that. And it's like, come on, do they really expect us to just sit back and just believe everything that they're telling us? I think that, that was a notion of what they were wanting us to believe. But now that people are becoming more savvy to the ideas of, well, the reality of what you're trying to tell us is really BS, and looking and studying into the actual historical facts of what they were capable of being able to do or were doing, we find that it is very plausible that uh, the cultures that were able to travel, I think it was, one of the in the book that I got, um, this, um, it pretty much is just the historical aspects of the truth telling about, um, well, um, white people were the main sailors and people that were seafarers, and that, um, black cultures were not able to or were not smart enough to be able to um, sail. And it was like, there's only so much that you could do by spinning this narrative that is going to make sense to um, people when they realize that, like I said, the bull crap that has been told to us for so long actually just goes out the window, because it's like we have to start realizing that everything that we thought we knew is a lie. It is not the truth. And I think that the media or the um, people that are making the big difference in saying, okay, well, we've got to spin this narrative back and make this right and get this information out that needs to be gotten out um, to the public, and let them realize that, we have been lied to for far too long, and the truth needs to be told. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think? I mean, is this something that you guys have heard before? Is it something that um, you have uh, heard of or have researched on your own? What are your thoughts? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Um, right now, I don't think we have anybody on. Yeah, it looks like there is nobody on yet. Brother. My brother Ether coming in. No, man, I was just throwing out some ideas about, ancient, our historical facts that we've always been told, and the of these ancient cultures that have been here, and the thought that academics are saying that we've always been told about the Nile River being the largest river in the world, and just like biblical accuracies of prophecies, like in Isaiah, when it says that the 7 rivers that flow out of the Nile River, when the actual Nile doesn't have 7, it only has like 3 or 2 rivers that come, or 4 rivers that come out of it, and the Mississippi River itself has the actual 7 rivers that flow from it. And the Gulf of Mexico wasn't even named the Gulf of Mexico until recently, and it used to be called the Egyptian Sea, I think is what it was called, which is really fascinating because, like I said, man, I mean, it's just, it's an idea that I was just throwing around. The possibility of cool idea that the Mississippi River could be the river, and it's in fact being told of it in ancient scriptures or ancient texts, and the possibility that the Egyptians actually did live here in the old American in the old world, I guess you could say, in the old world, and could that in fact account for the reason why we see so many Egyptian artifacts that have been found or documented in the US, because of the fact that they are or were actually here in America, and this being their origins of Native Americans, and that culture in and of itself, just being here in the United States. But like I said, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, is that really, is it something that could be plausible? I don't know, but I mean, I think that we, really know very little about any of the truths to anything that we've been told. All we know of the thing with the Egyptian hieroglyphs in the Grand Canyon is back in the early 1900s. Is that the I think his name is Thomas Kincaid, had found a cave system after exploring the Grand Canyon, and when he had to use several ropes to get through to it, and once he did, and he got inside, he said that he found hieroglyphs. He found giant mummified these beings that were very tall, sitting on thrones. I think he said there was 3 of them, 1 male, 2 females, and they were inside of this cave system that was inside of the Grand Canyon. And after he had notified the local museum authorities, the Smithsonian sent out a I guess you could say investigative party to investigate it, and like everything else, anything, they pretty much shut it off to the public. People weren't allowed to see the site anymore, which is also why you have no flying zones and restricted areas in the Grand Canyon, because there are things that they just don't want people to see, or they do not want them to be able to find. I mean, you can't even go through certain parts of the Grand Canyon, because it's like, okay, well, well, that's what I mean. It's like, what else is going on that we are seeing a lot of the past being being hidden from us. And it's like, what else is going to be hidden from us? What else is it that, I mean, we know that there are historical events or historical historical documentations. Well, we know for a fact, looking back at ancient text, right? Okay, you have Phoenicians, Asian cultures, the ancient Japan or ancient China, talking about fair seeing to these lands that were rich with food or gold, and they talk about, I mean, even in the Bible, it talks about Joseph when he was there in Egypt, and he was warning the Pharaoh about the flood that was coming. It was like, where did he go to get all this food? It says he traveled to the lands of the West. I mean, where they stocked up on corn and grain, and it's like, where did he go? I mean, obviously he had to come out this way. And that's what I think, looking on the possibilities of a lot of the things that we're reading up on or we're seeing, is that's what I believe, is that this is what we are seeing, is that these they are actually reminiscent areas of ancient cultures, ancient civilizations. I mean, we have presidents that are talking about ancient civilizations, or these burial mounds that they found with these giant Nephilim bodies that were inside of it, these giant carcasses, these bones. And it's like, why would they hide something like this? Why would they keep that from us? And thank you, brother. Keeping that stuff hidden from us for so long. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, dude. And I think that a reset is something that we have been seeing for a long time, and it's something that had been happening throughout the centuries, and that is one thing that I love. I love watching ancient what is it? Thank you, bro. Is it Ancient Apocalypse with Graham Hancock? And then season 2 just came out, and they have Keanu Reeves on there, and they talk about a lot of this stuff, these ancient resets. And yeah, man, I totally believe that we have been seeing resets for, and they're visible to us throughout history, throughout civilizations, and throughout different cultures in our past. And one of the cool things that I always think of is this: we have been dealing with a if I don't know if you want to say an actual reset, but are they planned? Is it something that has been planned in order to keep us dumbed down? You know what I'm saying? In order to keep us in the dark about who we are, where we come from, and the true nature of our ancestors, and also not even just that, but the technologically advanced cultures that were way ahead of their time. When you see, okay, well, they were able to, build these giant megaliths, structures. They were able to harness energies that were able to produce electricity, and look at the Egyptians, the pyramids themselves. I was in class and I was just going over this stuff with a study project that we did, and if you take the dimensions of the pyramids of Giza, they are actually the exact dimensions of the Earth, precisely. And not only are they to right down to the mill, it's like they are actually made out of. There's actually 8 sides to the pyramids. They are built in such a way that the chambers, one of the main, they call it a ventilation shaft, actually aligned perfectly to the Orion star system, and I forgot which star cluster it is, but I'm gonna have to look it up. But It's the shafts in the Great Pyramid of Giza are thought to be aligned with the several stars including Alpha Draconis, Orion's Belt, Sirius, and Beta Ursa Minoris. But the ventilation shaft that is in the Great Pyramid of Giza, they went inside and they laser pointed it, and it goes straight to that star system, like right to it. And it's like they're, they have this claim that the Great Pyramids of Giza were actually power stations that were built to harness energy, or were built to be able to gather this energy that was, and I mean, if it was something that was giving this energy to this star system, or to something that was here harnessing this energy for this star system. I mean, but it's like, for us to sit here and be able to talk about this, it's like, okay, if we're able to have this discussion because of what we're seeing, why is it not something that it's just, pushed to the side? It's like people don't even think about it, and it's like, this is really exciting stuff. This is really cool shit. And they say, oh well, the Great Pyramids were built for the Emperor Khufu, blah blah blah, but they never found bodies there. They never found anybody in there. They never found any pharaohs buried there at all. I believe that underneath there was a black, I'm going to see if I can, the granite sarcophagus, the precision that these things were made, and why, I mean, what was the purpose of having these things underneath there? In the Valley of the Kings, I believe it is, there's like 24 of them. And they were like, oh, well, they were there because, they were burial chambers for sacred bulls. So they were like, oh, okay, well, if that's the case, let's open it up. Well, they couldn't open it up because the lids were too heavy. Now that the lids were too heavy and they couldn't open it, blew one up. And this was back in the 50s or something like that. Now, when they blew up one of the coffins, they dynamited it. Did they find any burial bulls inside of it? No. Why in the world would these gigantic sarcophagus, granite, I mean, look at this thing. This thing is huge. I don't understand how people come to these idiotic conclusions that these things were, somehow made for human. I don't understand it. I mean, this is nuts. There are 24, it says, the mystery of these 24 alien black boxes discovered. Um, how did they end up building these things and putting them inside of here? I just, the level of precision that this thing is. I mean, the right angles, um, it just, it baffles the mind to think that, you know, we could sit here and say that, you know, these things were made for human use. Let me see if I can pull this thing up on YouTube real quick. May I get a video or something on her? Oh man. Black. Anyway, one of the, like I said, one of the things that just baffles me is just that the portion of history that has always just been narrated to us by these historical figures, these people who choose to leave in and take out portions of history, especially here in America. We find that a lot of the times it's, oh, well, those weren't anything, don't worry about it. But you have these documentations that say, yes, we found these bones in here, we found these artifacts that were not native, and they were reminiscent of these cultures that we see in the Middle East, or we see in Egypt, or we see in other parts from Asia. And there were, you know, a lot of the people are saying, or speculating that, you know, yes, are these things actually gem trade routes, or is it something that was of the port stations that you would find from, you know, like I said, the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, the Caribbean islands, just so much stuff. But if this was the fact that it was just trading stuff, why would they bury their people in these giant mounds in the Midwest? You know, what would be what would be the reasoning behind that? Why would they do that? Usually when you do something like that, it's for some people that are revered, that are very important, that are renowned to the area or the culture in itself. It's not something that you're just like, oh, well, I need to go bury this person that is of importance, and let's just build this giant mound or this pyramid in the earth and put this person inside of there that's, you know, 13 feet tall, and that happens to have red hair or is of white skin, and all these artifacts that, you know, they just happen to come over here on these ships with and just bury them in it. That's what they want you to believe and want you to think. And it's like, oh, it was for a chief of one of the local tribes. Come on, man. Really? Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Um, Another topic. You know what, man? We didn't even get this thing started off right. Let me do this right, man, because ain't this ain't right if we don't do it right. So I'm gonna get this thing going, and we're gonna get it started right. So let's do this, and then we'll catch back up. All right, cool. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Um, but one of the discussion that I was having with my buddy McLean earlier was the fact that we were discussing the advanced technology that is being presented or being built by these high tech companies around the world. Um, the um, Around the world that are linking neurotechnology with computer technology. Um, and that uh, is one of the things we were discussing about the reality of the world that we live in, um, and is in fact everything that we see reality, or is it just a offshoot of a program that we are living in? Um, because we know now that uh, zeros and ones make up everything in our system within the universe. The the thought that we are actually avatar in a computer generated matrix, in a program that is just something that we live in, that uh, is that what we are trying to recreate ourselves as human beings by trying to create um, an artificial life system that thinks that what it is actually doing is real? Is this not the same thing that we as human beings have been thrown into, um, by having a body that is an avatar with a soul in it, that is um, a programming of us living in something that is based on um, zeros and ones, a programming system? But yeah, I mean, is it far-fetched to think that that is a possibility, or in actuality the reality of what we are seeing, or what we are living or have been living in, um, is just a simulation, a program that was built to house us in and all we know is what we are seeing or being told or what we are born into. Um, and there are things that are real information of ancient cultures, ancient civilizations, ancient societies, um, from the past, and it makes us question, what were they doing? How were they able to be so technologically advanced? Um, and we can't even, we're barely getting past this stuff now. And yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder and makes you think, um, a lot about what our the truth of our history really is. I mean, uh, because I mean, if we're able to make a computer and make a simulation for these computers that are able to think and respond and adapt to its surroundings, but if we tell this simulation it is that it's a giraffe, and all it knows is that it's a giraffe, and it doesn't know any different because it's going off of what it's programmed to believe, and you throw this smart computer program into a simulation, into a world, and all it knows is that it's a giraffe in this world that it's living in. That's all it's going to know, because it doesn't know anything, because it's all it's programmed to believe. And it kind of goes along the same idea that if we as human beings say, oh, well, we live on this so-called spinning earth, and space is just this vast void that we are just barreling along in, and there is no other life on, in, or around us, and we are just going off of what we are programmed to believe. But yet, like I said, we have all this information that comes back to us that we are uncovering, that you have people that are doing excavations of streets, roadways, buildings, satellite imagery that is picking up on a lot of ancient technologies that are hidden, whether they be under the ice, and the polar caps, or just in regions of ice that are now melting, and these structures or these anomalies that were hidden from us for forever are now becoming visible, and are revealing things that we only thought be myth, or just be a legend, in the realm of what we think of as reality. Because people were always saying, oh, well, this isn't true, this isn't happening, this is not what is truth. Could it just be them just trying to hide things and cover things up from us, in order to just like kind of shape and mold us into what and where they want us to go, by hoarding and keeping all this technology and this information for themselves? So yeah, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think about that idea of um, the hidden aspect of our reality, as it were? I mean, is it something that, I mean, you could see um, time to time, a lot of the like I was saying, I think it was last week, the ideas that they're trying to push, or the agendas, or things that you see in the news, or just in the world in general, it just does not make sense. It's like, why would they push this narrative, and it just seems so far out there, really stupid, to the least. I mean, that they would tell us, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the Egyptians were never in the Grand Canyon, or that, these ancient artifacts that we've found here in America are not actually from, the Knights Templar, or, from any of the knight came over during the Crusades, or that were being persecuted by the church. The Phoenicians never came to America. They were never stuff, or tribes were not able to traverse seas. Like I said, it makes you think, are they trying to make them look idiotic in a way? It's like, that doesn't, it's really dumb to think that these people, these cultures around the world, were not able to be smart enough to and to traverse around the globe, or around this plane of existence, and were only capable of just, hunter-gatherers, farming and doing, typical human stuff to survive. And it just seems like, like I said, we've just been told tidbit information just to keep us in the loop of, well, there were things found, or there's artifacts that have been seen, but it's not what you think it is. I'm gonna post this. Also, too, did you guys know that there were Egyptian artifacts found in Utah as recently as like a few years ago, like about 3 years ago? I know when we were up there, when we had taken our daughter, and she was in the NIC unit at the children's unit, they had on the news, on the radio, about excavation on a site where they were building, doing some renovations, or building new buildings, that they had found mummies, or a mummy that was over 44,000 years old in Utah. And not only that, there is actually evidence to suggest that there has always been artifacts found in Utah regarding ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, petroglyphs that are found in Utah. I mean, it's just really, really amazing to see that this stuff is there. It has been denied, Smithsonian, obviously, because they don't want people to believe that this isolation theory that they try to push off, that cultures were isolated by water and not able to be found, mingling with other cultures around the world, which I find really, really stupid. And this Darwinism crap that they push, that men were just, humans were just barely, scraping around on their knuckles, and they weren't able to be here doing the things that they supposedly were doing. It just baffles me. I find it very hard to believe that we have for so long been shoveling this. Um, we have just been, spewed out this BS of um, this is what it is, and that's all there is to it. I'm going to post this. Terry Carter, I follow him on YouTube, and he has been doing a lot of research into the Egyptian, Nephilim, ancient civilizations that have lived here in Nevada, Utah, Colorado, down in the Four Corners region area. And you guys can check his videos out. I've put them on here before, but I really highly recommend that you check them out. Take a look for yourselves, and see what you guys think, or what your ideas are of what you come up with. As far as wrapping your brains around this stuff. What do you guys think? I mean, what is it that we, as a society, as a culture, as human beings, that just makes you think like, wow, there has got to be something more of what we have been told. I mean, this cannot just be all there is. There's got to be something else going on here. Let me know what you guys think. Chime in on this. I mean, we've got oh man. Let's see. It says there is a place called the Field Museum in Chicago, Illinois, which houses a substantial collection of ancient Egyptian items, including mummies. You can also find Egyptian mummies on display at the Wayne County Historical Museum in Richmond, Indiana. I mean, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of stuff and information out there on these artifacts that have been found in the Midwest. Like I said, I mean, it's just it just boggles them. Even in California, they've found them, which is just very like. It just boggles the mind. To me, it's interesting. It's very interesting. because, like I said, I love history. I love digging into um, this information because, you know, looking at that, like I said in other videos, is that, you know, ever since I've, you know, was younger, I always thought, you know, man, this is something that is captivated my essence, that there is something that everything that we know is not exactly what we've been told. It's just been, you know, a lie after a lie after a lie, just to cover up the bigger story, the bigger picture. And it's like, you know, why go through so much to hide the truth from everybody, you know, if there was really nothing, I mean, if there was nothing that was going to damage or hurt the public, why hide it? Why keep it from everybody? I'm gonna share this other video too. It's talking about the mummies that they found in Indiana. There you go. There was a guy I was just watching earlier that was talking about a rock quarry. On Google. He goes around and he finds rock or just anomalies on Google Earth, and he goes and checks it out. What it is that he was looking on Google Maps and he found, like, on the edge of the Grand Canyon, what looked like precision cut stones. And it's not just one or two, it's hundreds and thousands of them. Like it was a quarry that was manufacturing stone. And I just, like I said, I just was baffled because I was like, okay, this is getting crazy. And this guy finds these places, and there's a lot of these places where I guess he's not supposed to be. But he looks for it, and he finds them, and he goes to them, and he shows them to people. And it is so cool. The videos and the pictures that he gets, it's beautiful. It's cool stuff. Oh man, I'm trying to. They've also found pre-flood ruins in the Grand Canyon. That bear real struggle um, similarities, um, other sites in the world, South America, Peru, Egypt, ancient Egyptian scarabs found in the Grand Canyon. You've got these sites of uh, living quarters in the canyon that are not um, visible unless you know where to look. That are being found by people who are going into the Grand Canyon, uh, and searching these places out. Um, it is really interesting to see the things that are coming out of um, I'm trying to see if I can find this video. I think I saved it, but I'm going to check it. I want to show it to you guys because it's really cool. I mean, you guys let me know what you think, and leave your thoughts in the comments because, like I said, I mean, it's really cool. Really cool. All right, so this first one I'm going to is this one here, which like I said, I thought it was insane. Oh my god, I don't want to do all this. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Stop doing this. All right, let's check this out because this is pretty cool. So this guy was saying, I'll let him tell you what was going on because this is pretty freaking cool. I mean, look at the edging on that stone. Look at that. How does that I and look at that whole ridge line. It's a look at it, it's like a quarry. Like they were just mining these stones. I don't know. It's just really baffling to there's got to be much more to the history that they're not telling us. I mean, look at that. It's like they were just already being sectioned out. They were already cut, precisionally aligned, getting ready to be taken, and something just stopped them. It just stopped. For whatever reasoning or whatever was going on, it just ceased. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So anyway, I just thought I would share that. That was pretty something pretty cool that I had found or I was looking at that this guy had stumbled across, and I like watching his videos because he comes across a lot of things regarding ancient sites or things that could be sites, and uh, yeah, like I said, I mean, there's so much stuff that's going on that is that we are, we're finding out, we're seeing, yet we are not, um, getting the full story on a lot of this stuff that is just unfolding in front of us. It makes you think about a lot of things. I mean, is everything what we've been told real? And if it's not, the possibilities of everything that it was folklore or just stories that were being passed down, the possibilities of them being true are more likely. I mean, there are, countless tales of, you know, creatures or cryptids or hominids or inner earth or civilizations living underneath our feet or civilizations that are dormant from the rest of the world. I mean, the population of the earth, the majority of the earth has yet to be discovered or explored, for that matter. I mean, the oceans themselves, I think it's like 15% of the world's water oceans have been, studied. There are deep parts of the earth that are underneath the oceans or the waters that we have not explored yet. So I mean, there are things that are within the realm of reality, if we want to call it that, where we are, that we have no idea of anything that is happening, anything that is going on or has been going on, um, and it just makes your mind go that what is going on if this is what we know now with a little information that has come out about realities of things that are happening, or the um, the notion that we are um, looking at the unraveling of this deception and the hiding of this information from humanity, about to could we be looking at um, the unfolding of um, the the releasing of information of everything that we've been getting questions to, all these topics? Could we be getting to the verge of being able to um, get the disclosure on all this stuff? And if it does happen, wow. I mean, that's, I don't know about you, but that's pretty exciting stuff, and I think it's something that's really cool. Um, and I think it's been a long time coming. But yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. What do you guys think? I mean, what are some thoughts on a lot of this stuff that we are seeing now, regarding things that are um, being uh, revealed to us? I mean, good lord, the possibilities are endless. I guess Oh man, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think? Chime in on this. I mean, what do you guys um, foresee um, humanity going with all this? I mean, what are some things that would, um, I mean, this is something that is very big. We are looking at, um, the unfolding of what we have been waiting. I mean, we've been waiting for this stuff for a long time to come out. And a lot of people that knew in their heart of hearts that, there was something going on, that everything that we know was wrong. It just felt wrong. Um, I would, as I said before, I think, um, listening to your gut feeling and following the information, and doing a lot of studying, with anything, is key. Um, and as I said when I started this podcast, was the ability to find your information for yourself and just research, uh, the things that you believe to be, true, and find the keys to, the information that you're wanting to learn is out there. And I tell my kids this all the time, is that anything that you want to know of or learn, about, you can find it in a library. Straight up. If you can't find it in a library, at your local library, you can, order books online, get them mailed straight to your door. And the information usually will lead you to something else. If you can't find it in that book, look at it in another. Look up more books that might have that subject matter in it. And just keep searching for the answers. I mean, that is the key, is, uh, searching, never giving up the path of finding, knowledge, in everything that you are, um, curious about. And I would say that, this has led me on that journey myself, is that it just, that gut feeling of just like, okay, there's something more to what we've all known, and just looking for it, trying to find the answers, trying to get the information, and, just studying and questioning, uh, every and anything, that has been, given to us, because, it just does not make sense that, people will say that, this is all there is. We've, never done this, or this is the only, avenue of approach for, this, you know idea or concept of thought. Um, but the more that you, uh, dive deeper into looking within the questions and the ideas and the thought processes that you have, more stuff becomes opened up. And the reason why I say it becomes opened up is because you start finding that the things that we've been told or we've been looking into is not it's not anything that we thought at all. And that is what I encourage everybody to do, is um, to please just think outside the box. Do not take what they tell you for face value, at face value, because they're they're truths that they have given us since we can remember, is to keep us dumbed down, to keep us in control, to keep us um, manipulated into being a slave to the system. And if they can keep just keeping us in that submissive state, then there is nothing that will hinder them from controlling the population, because we are going to be submissive to everything that they tell us is the truth. If we just keep going off based off of what they give us and what they tell us, and we just never question it, we never uh, we never um, think of, questioning everything that has been told to us, we will just continue to be subservient to the ones who are just giving us this information, and just telling us what we want to hear. Oh, of course, you know, human beings are the only intelligent beings in the universe. No, aliens aren't real. you know, uh, of course, ancient technologies are just a lie. It was just a myth. Um, and there's no such things as giants, or there's no such thing as reincarnation or life after death, or when you're dead you're dead, or there's never ever been any technologies that before humankind, that before a certain period in time. It just one of those things where it's like, enough is enough. It's like it just doesn't make any sense anymore, and it's just become ridiculous to the point that um, we have I don't know. I just, I get a lot of kickback from people that are always like, man, why even worry about it? Why does it even matter? Um, you get so into all this stuff, and you're worried about this and that, and you know, um, you should be worrying about right now, and just live in the moment, yada yada. And it's like, yeah, I do, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to be a slave to the system, and I'm not going to just keep going along with it without questioning something, um, and questioning the theory or the thought process behind a lot of the things that are going on in our reality, or in our realm of reality. Because it's like, why why do we have to sit here and just take it at face value? I just, there's just too much BS of, going along with everything that we have been told. And it's just, it's good to see that, a lot of people have joined in this endeavor, or are following along on the channel, and are showing support and showing love for a lot of the topics that I discuss on here. Um, at times it does seem like I'm just like, man, whatever, dude, I'm just gonna quit. I'm not gonna do this anymore, um, but then I get, there's times, a lot of people are like, chiming in and giving support, and are, just saying, hey, stick with it, bro. You're putting a lot of information out there, and you're able to, shed light on a lot of things that, and people, in other words, would never, think about. They think about, but then they just don't look more into it, and you help them to look into it more. But like I said, I mean, I would love to be able to have more people uh, with me here on the podcast, to be able to, get uh, other people's insights into uh, the topics, or what you guys would like to have me, or what you would like to talk about on the channel, as far as, historical information, or topics that you think are, I guess, intriguing to what you guys would want to listen to, or listen or talk about. Um, and if there is something that you guys would like to discuss or talk about, let me know. Hit me up on Facebook, or on YouTube, or um, just, chime in and say, hey man, I was thinking about this, dude, what are your thoughts on this? Or hey, what do you think about this idea or this topic? And yeah, we can hit it up, and we can go over it and talk about it. And like I said, when I first started this, is that question everything. Never stop questioning anything, and understand that everything that we have been told, everything is a lie. Everything. We need to understand that the reality of what we are living in, the times now, and the information and the technology and the history of where we come from, what we are, why we're here. Everything is just, it's not what we have been told. And the powers that keep us in control are using every ounce of our history, our religions, our politics, are to sue us into being subservient to the system, and to question everything. If you cannot do that, if it is just your path of just staying within the matrix and following the uh, the path of being a sheep, and just going with the flow, and just saying, I'm not even going to question anything. I'm not even, I don't need to worry about any of this stuff. Then so be it. I mean, that's not my place here to change people's mind. It's just to give the information out on certain things. Get the information out, put it out there, let you figure it out and research it for yourself. and hopefully it will hit or strike a nerve within you to where you're like, wow, this really makes sense, or that is crazy. I've always thought about this, and I've never looked into it, but now that I'm understanding what you're saying because I've seen this before, whatever. Because I mean, like I said, I've had people tell me that, you've told me something or you showed me something that I've never thought about, but all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This because I've thought about it before, and now I can totally get it. I see it. Um, and I, totally appreciate everybody for supporting the podcast, for joining me here on Fridays, for chiming in and giving the information, um, to be able to push forward and talk about a lot of these things. Um, it, like I said, knowing that we are not alone, in talking about these things that we can't talk to everybody about, that we can't, sit around and say, hey man, what do you think about this, without people looking at you going, man, you're a freaking weirdo. Um, you can always join me here on Fridays, and we'll talk about anything and everything. Weird and unweird, and just topics of discussion that will just make you think, wow, this is getting a bit far, but um, it's not too outlandish, for us here on the page, because like I said, we talk about everything, and it doesn't bother me, and I don't think it should bother anybody else, because this is a safe place for us to be able to hang out, hold these topics of discussion, and not um, have have recourses of action taken against us by our peers, or um, by anybody, in our family member. I've trust me, I get it all the time, like from family members, and people that are in my circle, or that were in my circle. You're like, dude, we can't talk anymore, and it's like, oh well. I'm sorry that you feel that way, that you can't speak to me because I brought up something that you don't either agree with, or you think is not uh, correct. I'm not saying that it is. All I'm saying is just think about it. Think about what we've always been told, and look at the evidence that's outside of the box of what we know as a society, and as human beings. And you know just question everything. Question everything. Do not take what they give you at face value, because it's not real. um, we are living in a world where we are just being told a lot of things that are made to be truths, in order to keep us enslaved to the system, and it's really sad. It really is. But um, as I said, this was something that I was thinking about this week. I was hoping that I'd get a lot of people on here. I just want to say to my brother Brian Ether, thank you, brother, for joining me and coming along, man, and being here on the podcast and supporting me, man. I appreciate you a lot. Um, and to everybody out there that chimed in and got to watch the episode, I appreciate you. Thank you guys for being here, and you guys just remember, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to get on here and talk, ask questions, let me know something, or say, hey man, this is what's going on, or ask a question about something, um, and we can figure it out and find the answers together. Um, if I don't know it, we'll look it up. We'll find it. We'll try and get to the bottom of it one way or the other. But yeah, for every and anybody that has any question about anything, always hit me up. I'm here. I appreciate you guys for being here and coming along with me on this journey. And yeah, let's do this again. We'll be back. We'll be back at it next week. Next Friday, we should be uh, heading back around 7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 o'clock ish. We'll do it again. So yeah, you guys join me. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's get into some subject matter that'll have us going. Man, damn, I didn't think about that. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys again next Friday.